You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. That's the definition of a good-looking person. Looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to the Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Now, notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. The ambassador of joy. And you tuned into this show for one reason only. Best reason in the whole world, because you care the most, the entire world, about you. Y-O-U. And that's great because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony. You create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. And you're going to be suffused with love and peace and upbeat today. You're about to meet an amazing, wonderful guy named Tom, who's going to introduce you to a fabulous world about caring and loving, etc. So buckle up and get ready. So before we bring on Tom, the reason that you're here, and you know this, is because you tuned in because we talk about the three fundamentals of life. And when you use these three fundamentals, the result is to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And one of the things we urge you to do is to share this show with 5 people. You want to share with 50 or 100, that's up to you. But at least 5 people, because we have right now 523,917 people around the world that are tuned in, listening, watching, etc. So if you share with 5, we can touch 2.5 million people with our message of joy. And of course, we want to do that, right? So we urge you to do that. So 3 fundamentals. Number 1 is your life has purpose. That's right. And you lead a purpose-driven life. Number 2 happens. It's a good number 2. You go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the 3rd fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example, right now the show is carried over the internet. You ask anybody, what does www stand for? And very many times we'll do it on the internet. Factually speaking, they're correct. However, in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for what a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? W-H-A-T-A. And of course, a big thank you to Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, for enabling that song to go viral and touch not just tens of millions, hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet. Whenever you hear the opening bars of what a wonderful world, what do you do right away? You can't help it. Just smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you can internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile is an acronym that stands for seeing miracles in life every day. That's right, seeing miracles in life every day. Let me tell you a quick story. It's about me. Imagine, if you can, I'm standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And that evening, I'm in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed from my neck down. And it was not because of an automobile accident. It wasn't a spinal injury. It was a rare disease, which I never heard of the day before, took over my body and rendered me, it's called a quadriplegic. Nothing in the body moved. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was 2 years in a hospital bed. I couldn't move. 4 years in a wheelchair. Braces on both my legs, to my hips, to my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped. Can't walk up a stair by myself. Can't walk up a curb by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. However, you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of one word. One word, and the word is smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. Now, right away, we have some people raising their hands saying, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours already. Haven't seen any miracles. And I ask them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I can barely do that. You have water, drink, food, eat, place to sleep. If you have family and friends, every single one of those is a miracle. And what's the proof? Simple proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching or you're listening, you didn't. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full, to live exuberantly. Let me tell you, look, a quick little story that happened just a couple weeks ago. My 8-year-old niece comes over to me. She says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile? S-M-I-E-L. So I thought about smile, sounds the same. Why not? I asked her, how come? She said that because smile stands for S-M-I-E-L, seeing miracles in everyday life out of the mouth of an 8-year-old. What was she doing? She was creating the kind of world that she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a fabulous acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. You're going to hear some rethinking today from our amazing, wonderful guest, Tom Dahlborg, and you're going to love it. Now, what we call this is a shift in perspective. Now, I've been working with people for more than half a century, and I can tell you on paper, everything's fine. They come and talk to me, and we release some of the things that are bothering them. And what happens is a lot of these people have dropped the F in shift, and the other stuff happens. You got to keep your F and Fs in place. You want to shift your perspective just a little bit, and then you can be able to internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. These are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine your path in life and your trajectory. Now, before we bring on Tom, it's going to warn everybody that I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word, and I do it for the shock value, and it's fun. Now, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of the positive purpose of power and pleasant, are love, life, hope, play, free, gift, swim. And the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun? That's right. FU, capital N, capital N. So some people raise their hand and say, hey, Barry Shaw, fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Now, in our world, the world of the positive purpose of powerful and pleasant, is spelled FU, capital N, capital N. So after the show, when you see your family and friends, I want you to point your finger, twinkle in your eyes, smile on your face, remember that stands for, and say, F you, everybody, but add right away, capital N, capital A. And you got their attention, and they say, well, what's that all about? You can tell them all the amazing insights that you learned today on the joy of living with our special guest, wonderful Tom. So before we bring on Tom, I just want to urge everybody to do the following. I want you to use the 2 most powerful words in English language 3 times a day from now and the rest of your life. Why? Because you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. Kind is a fabulous word that stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. I can't think of anybody that inspires noble deeds more than wonderful, amazing, fabulous Tom Dahlborg. Tom, please say hello to 527,611 people around the world.
Hi, y'all. It is absolutely wonderful to be part of this show, and Barry, to be here with you and with your audience.
Woo! Did you hear that? Well, those of you, this inside baseball stuff, you just got a little taste of something. And if you can detect where Tom is from, you send me a note and you're going to win the special prize. Okay, now we have an international audience, so they won't do that. We have people all over the world, people from Baluchistan, Nepal, the Congo, they send in from notes and such like that, all over Latin America and rest of the world. I want to tell you, everybody, if I started telling you all the fabulous, wonderful things that Tom Dahlborg is doing, has done, and will do, it will take the rest of the show. I'm going to mention 3 data points. He's known as a healthcare disruptor. How do you like that? He's a mental health champion, as am I. He's been called a ruckus maker by certain magazines and such like that. What I really love about him is that he has written books that help amplify positive childhood experiences. We're going to talk a lot about that. What I love most about Tom, however, is that he's a father, a husband, he's a grandfather, and a coach, and we love him. And again, another inside baseball stuff, he loves reading Psalms. Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment. So with that as an introduction, Tom, let's just jump right in and talk about what really motivates you, how we came together, which is this interesting, fascinating idea in the healthcare world about transforming revenue-centered healthcare into what you are calling, and I love hearing, agape-centered healthcare. So let's unpack it, because let's be blunt, it's not your everyday topic that people are sitting around the kitchen table talking about.
No, it's not. And yet, most, if not all of us, have experienced some aspect, some part of the paradigm of the journey from revenue-centered care to agape-centered care. So as an example, here in the US, predominantly, we're a revenue-centered care model. We are built around, how do I generate within the health system revenue? How do I do it through services or through risk sharing and all these other models? And I was a CFO. I worked in finance in the healthcare space. I get it. I see it. I know the positive aspects, then there are some, and I know the negative aspects. I know the harm that can be done when we focus in that space solely. Now, what has happened though, is this pendulum has started to move from revenue-centered care to, and then it became provider-centered care. And it was built around the doctor and God doctor for my parents' generation and others. And
by the way, that was an inside baseball stuff about you. Did you say God-centered care? Meaning, doctor. You meant doctors as the Diaz complex.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Just want to make sure everybody understands what we're talking about. In America, especially, doctors have a unique position on the shelf in everybody's home. It's called the God statue. Okay.
That's
and
right.
They think it too, except for
exactly.
Doctors think it. Surgeons know it.
That's good. That's good. And yes, we've gone from revenue-centered care to this other aspect that we just talked about. And then the pendulum had continued to swing to patient-centered care, where now the doctor and the care team, the nurses, and I'm married to an amazing, brilliant, loving nurse, have now been put in that back seat as the patient and family has become the focus. And they've become the focus for altruistic reasons, and they've become the focus also because the financial incentives are set up so that if they're happier, then me as a health system will make more revenue. I can generate more revenue. So it's not about creating goodness necessarily. It's about, how do I still generate revenue based on that goodness? That pendulum continued to swing, and you'll see more and more relationship-centered care. I was part of a model, a research institute that embraced relationship-centered care. And the goodness within it is incredibly good. And yet what it's become is now transactional relationship-centered care. And that is where I have a relationship with you because I'm going to benefit from that. And I have a relationship with that hospital or that surgeon or with that community-based organization. And those are all transactional to achieve a metric, a KPI, a goal, an objective. And so each one of those, there are positives. In each one of those, we can be manipulated for that goodness or for harm. And we've seen it all. In fact, there was a book that people may be familiar with, Crossing the Quality Chasm, which came out in 2001. That's about 25 years ago. That was all about, we need to improve patient safety. 25 years, very little improvement in patient safety in the United States. We've invested millions, if not billions of dollars to improve patient safety. We're missing the mark. We can do far better.
Let me ask you to pause just for a moment, because you've given us a lot. I want to unpack a few things here. And I first want to call out, as you did so nicely and correctly, nurses. I have been involved in the healthcare system for a number of years because of being in a hospital, quadriplegic, and getting remarkable care from all levels of the system, by the way, even doctors. However, nurses, for me, and I include in nurses what I call physical therapists, occupational and the other one. Yes, occupational therapist and physical therapist, because that strata of caring, in my experience, is more involved with caring than transactional. However, you do bring up an important point here, and it's absolutely amazing. Let's be blunt. The United States of America, for all its warts and all the difficulties, is the leading medical center of the world. Now, it may not be the innovative center of the world. There are places like Israel, which is seemingly on leading, cutting, bleeding edges. In America, we're such a giant that sometimes the giant has difficult to pick up a foot and move it forward and put down another foot. However, we are, from my experience, the best in patient care. And we don't have socialized medicine. We have transactional medicine. One of the things I think we want to talk about, and we're going to go deep, is what you call agape medicine. I call it transformative medicine. The ability to move beyond transactions in business. I'm a businessman. I love business. I think business is the highest calling, even higher than a surgeon. Why? Because nothing happens in the world until someone has something, a service that they can offer somebody else. And it's both transactional and transformative. Transactional just because you need the necessary aspect of maintaining business flow, cash flow, et cetera, et cetera. Transformational in the sense that when you provide the best service, you are bringing transformation to those who are using it. And that's a mindset, however, and I think that touches what you mentioned, and we're going to go deeper into the agape model. So how does the agape model transcend the transactional model? Because we get stuck here, don't we?
We do. And again, there are so many positive aspects of the U.S. health system, but again, patient safety hasn't improved since 2001. Patient experience hasn't improved since 2016. We spend more in America per capita on healthcare than the entire world, and yet our outcomes are not what some other countries are achieving. And so there's a physician out of the University of Michigan. He passed away some time ago. His name is Avidis Donabedian. And I think I may have shared this with you previously. I love one of his quotes, and I do want to say it here. His quote is, "There's lip service to quality and goodness knows propaganda, but real commitment is in short supply. The real commitment is because we've missed a key element, which I'm about to get to." He continues, "Systems awareness and systems design are important for health professionals, but are not enough. And yet where are we spending most of our money, or a lot of our money in consulting, is around systems change, be it through technology, workflows, and others. Important, but we're still missing something, as he said, not enough." He continues, "They are enabling mechanisms only." And here's the key point coming. "It is the ethical dimension of individuals that is essential to system success." And this next line is the one that really gets me. "Ultimately, the secret of quality is love. You have to love your patient. You have to love your profession. You have to love your God. If you have love, you can then work backward to monitor and improve the system."
I want to pause for a moment and let a little bit of this sink in and understand that what you just built with this quote from this remarkable being is that the foundation of the process is in a word that is bandied about, that is truly the bedrock. We call it in American English love. Every language has its own term for it. In English, I love using the acronym LOVE, living on vibrant energy, living on the vibrational plane. When that is suffusing every thought, word, and deed, then the result must be, it's a law, it must be quality service if it's built on love. Is that fair to say?
That's exactly right. When we think about agape love, unconditional love, God's love for all of us, we don't allow for a specific financial model or approach or a different healthcare model to impede our ability to love in action, as Randy McNeely would say, kindness, to deliver that to that patient to that family, to that nurse, to that doctor, to the entire community.
Hey, let's go pause for 2 moments for very important. First of all, yay, Randy McNeely, who put us together. I love him. Kindness Worldwide. Big shout out. Number 2, we have sponsors that love the show. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time and attention. Don't go away, because Tom is going to go with us on a deep dive and emerge with more agape love on the other side of this. Don't go away.
Hey, quick pause. If something you just heard made you stop and think, don't let that moment pass. Because that shift, that awareness, is the doorway to real joy. Barry Shore has put together a free ebook with simple, powerful strategies to help you live in joy every day. Go to barryshore.com and download your free copy now, because one small shift can change everything.
Good day. Beautiful bonds with beloved immortal beings and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, because you're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Tom Dahlborg, and he has a Boston accent. And it's wonderful to be with him today, talking about what everybody really want. Well, I don't know about everybody, because if everybody did, then it would be that way. What the tip of the spear wants to be, and the pendulum is hopefully moving in that direction, and we're allowing it to be that way, is more what we call love-based patient, doctor, everybody in the system care. Because care is the essence. Care is the outcome. Based on love, by definition, it will happen. So let's continue. You mentioned the 3-letter word, God. Let's talk a bit about God for the moment, with your permission. You're an author, several books, with a new one coming out. I'd like you to mention the titles of the 2 books that are already out, and then talk about the one that's coming out. And then we're going to circle back, and I want to talk to you about God. We'll call it, for want of a better term, medicine and love. So let's hear about the books, if you'd be so kind.
Absolutely. The first book is, the second edition was just released a few weeks ago. It's called From Heart to Head and Back Again, A Journey Through the Healthcare System.
Okay, well, I just want everybody to know that first word he said is heart, H-E-A-R-T. But Tom and I both pronounce it hot, but that's okay.
So as I call it, the Heart Book. The Heart Book is about my own journey through the healthcare system. Now, about halfway through my career, I got ill. I was told I'd never work again, get in line for a heart transplant. So I got to see, as a patient, and again, married to an amazing wife, bride and nurse, the goodness within the healthcare system we need to fan, those flames we need to fan, and also the opportunities. And I remember one time, going back to the nursing discussion, Barry, I was in the hospital, again, not knowing if I was ever going to leave that hospital, at least alive. And a nurse came in, middle of the night, pitch black, sits at the edge of my bed. She holds my hand. She looks deeply into my eyes, and she says to me 4 magic words. She says, Tom, I've got you.
Yes, that's nurse.
That's right.
No, wait a minute. With great love and humility to doctors. I've not heard that from doctors. I have heard that from nurses.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I needed to get through that moment, and to get through the next moment, and then to know I was going to still be there when my bride and children came the next day. And so that's part of that story within that book. And then the second edition, what I've done was I reached out to 13 brilliant, amazing people, patients, doctors, nurses, and others, to get their insights, their wisdom, how they would bring love back into healthcare, what lens they're looking through. And there's a physician out of Canada who contributes, and she shares this incredibly vulnerable story of how working with a patient she missed. Her words, she messed up. She totally went to a judging place and not to a loving place. And what she learned from that experience and how that carries her forth today. We have another person that contributes to that book, Her mother did incredibly horrific, awful. I want to say that differently. She went through incredibly horrific, awful journey out of Vietnam during the Vietnam boat people, that time period, to save herself and to save her daughter. Her daughter contributes to this book. She got to America. She had a heart issue. She immediately needs surgery in Seattle. She gets surgery from this incredible doctor. And now she lives her life giving back and helping others. And it's just absolutely beautiful. And she tells a story. And there's so many other stories like that.
So that's the first book. What's the second book?
Second book is The Big Kid and Basketball, and the lessons he taught his father and coach. This book is another aspect of our journey. So as I was going through my own healing process, my son, who was born with neurological challenges and was a bigger kid, from the age of around 4, he started being bullied predominantly by adults. And by adults. And my bride and I, we thought we were the worst parents ever. And around that time, I was working for the National Institute for Children's Health Quality. Just like with high reliability organizations, you defer to the experts. I deferred to experts. What's happening? Help me learn. I learned it wasn't an aberration. This was children were being bullied. I think it's 42% by teachers and coaches. And I can give you all these facts. That's all in the book. That book is a journey that started off as a journal I was writing as I was trying to manage with my bride what was happening to our second child and what he was going through. Barry, you and I have talked in the past about basketball. We actually used the sport of basketball to help our child, Tommy Jr., learn to love his body, learn to love himself again. And it was powerful and profound. I do want to hit on this one point, though, because I'll say it differently. I really need to be cognizant of my own ego, because I put this book out. It starts getting all this press. I'm doing talks around the world and television and all this other stuff. Long story short, years later, when my son, again, bullied when he was 4, we started using basketball when he was 8. Now he's at 23 years old. He comes to my bride and I, and he says, "Mom, Dad, I need to tell you something." Back in 4th grade, I put a belt around my neck. I didn't want to live anymore. The pain was so great. I tell you this, and again, that's all in the book. I tell you this, though, because I was being recognized as an expert. I was being recognized as a go-to person to stop bullying and so forth. I had no idea the pain my own son was feeling, to the extent he was feeling that pain and what he almost accomplished. And it just, talk about humbling, talk about hitting your knees, talking about looking to God and saying, they're both, but the grace of God. And so that was another moment where I knew that I needed to look in my own mirror and figure out how I can do better, how I can be better. I knew the only way I could do that was to reach out to God for his help, and then to rely and surrender myself to him so that I could help my own family, but also ideally, like you said earlier, with purpose and make a difference and try to make a difference and help other children. So that's the second book there.
Let's pause for a moment. I'm going to mention something to you about healthcare and such. So I was told by doctors who don't necessarily have a bedside manner, and they even seem to want to do well. It's okay, but when they sent me home after 144 days, I was still paralyzed. Quad, neck down. They told me, "Mr. Short, most likely you'll never move again. Maybe you certainly won't walk again. You might move a little bit. However, be aware we have lots of things that you can do, and the system is here to help you." Now, did I listen to them? In my mind, I'm not going to yell at the doctors and tell them they're wrong and such. However, in my mind, because I was 55 at the time and I was very positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, I didn't hear them, and I knew that something good was going to come out of this. And I created a phrase that I've shared with, now I can tell you, probably upwards of almost 1 million people who have heard this and who have taken comfort in it. And you might like this. Diagnosis is not destiny. So when you told me the nurse held your hand, said, I've got you, Tommy, I've got you. That was the translation of diagnosis is not destiny.
Right. Absolutely.
And today, people know the story. You go to my website, you read the whole thing. And, I can't even get it from this chair right now because I'm still basically paralyzed from the waist down. I swim 2 miles a day, 6 days a week. And I've been doing that for 15 years. Over 10,300 miles and growing. Okay, now I want to, and I believe hundreds of thousands, if not millions, want to hear about the next book. And I am still choking. I want to also share with you an important acronym for the word joy. Joy stands for Journey of You. Everybody has a journey, individual. And when you told us now that you, as the author of the book about bullying and this and that, and couldn't even see in your own son what was going on, well, that's reality, Tom. The ability to understand that even when you're standing up straight, you're on your knees, and the only way that the salvation is by looking up and reaching out and saying, Dear Lord, I'm here to serve. Help me. Am I right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that was the impetus for the next book of the next book series, which is what we call the Light book series. And it's really geared towards children and families. So parents reading to their child or a child reading themselves. It's picture books. And it's about helping children find their own voice, their own agency, to learn how to love themselves, and also understand that that power and that love comes from God. And the first book within that series is called The Light Gifts. And it's about a child dealing with body dysmorphia and being bullied, and again, finding that gift within himself, again, with the help of coaches, family, friends, and others. And my oldest daughter, who also has been victimized by bullying as well, she's brilliant and amazing. She's a former Miss Maine USA, competed in Miss USA, and yet she too was bullied. So a lot of people think only certain people or certain, quote, types of people get bullied. It's not true. And she's also my thought partner in many, many ways, and an incredible graphic designer. So we've been partnering on this book series to talk about such things as belonging, external pressures, everything from loss of a pet, and other adverse childhood experiences. And together, looking up to God, engaging our faith system, and fueled by that faith, seeking to help other children and families.
I'm going to go back to something you mentioned in the beginning about your son and early bullying. And I must tell you very bluntly and openly, when I hear bullying, I presume it is done by peers, either classmates, upperclassmates, but always in the child realm. And you're telling me that adults who supposedly have a higher intellect stoop to the lowest level possible. That's the lowest level, is to bully another human being. There is, in my humble opinion, there's nothing worse. To make fun of, to create an atmosphere of negativity around a child, a kid, especially by a coach, by a teacher. This is revelation. You hear me? This is revelation. I don't mean in the best sense. This is revelation. Now, I will share with you another interesting acronym that you might like. Is the word GIFT. GIFT stands for Godly Inspiration Facilitating Transformation. Because everybody's given a gift. Some of it, sometimes we use language, it's called dysphoria and such. No, everybody's gift is unique because that's God. We all know the famous line, God doesn't make junk. Okay. How do you deal with that when the person who thinks he's a junkie is looking in the mirror and say, but look at all those people telling me, blah, 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 and be able to break through that and to think, the good Lord loves me. And the good Lord is only good. I'm godly inspiration, facilitating transformation. I'm a gift. Okay, that takes work. That takes a lot, and struggle, and oftentimes a lot of tears and heartbreak. Am I right?
Oh, you're spot on. You're absolutely spot on.
Let me tell you what HEART stands for, by the way. I think you're going to love it. HEART is one of my favorite words, as you can imagine, because it's me. I've been through stuff. And it happens to be in English, HEART. And by the way, everybody around the world listening knows English. It is the lingua franca. That's a fun story, by the way. It is the common language of the planet right now, even though everybody has their own unique language that they speak in their own country. English is known, HEART. It's a fascinating word because it has a lot of, has 3 consonants and it has 3 syllables. You can make 48 words out of the word heart. It's a powerful word. Also, the word earth comes up right away. But HEART stands for helping everyone achieve remarkable transformation. That's what the heart is really about. That's what you do. I want to go and jump to something fascinating because you've been a CFO. Let's be blunt. What is a CFO? Chief Financial Officer. Right. You're not called the Chief Fun Officer. You're called the Chief Financial Officer. Come on, Dahlborg, get with the program. We need to make money here. This is an organization. We have 300, 800, 1,000, 1,200 employees. We're going to take care of them, right? Now, how do you go beyond the famous line, what you can't manage, you can't measure? Well, what do you do with that, Tom?
Well, it's fascinating to me. So I have a quality improvement background as well. And I remember hearing that phrase, that point of view constantly. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And everyone would say either Deming, the godfather of quality, or Drucker, or used to say that.
I'm a big Drucker fan. And by the way, in my humble opinion, Drucker was one of the unique beings that did fuse measurement and humility.
He did. And you're absolutely spot on. And he, Noah Deming, ever said that line. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it.
Yeah, it was the lower people. No, it's right. The people who couldn't find and understand the prophetic aspect, they put it into their little world aspect.
That's exactly right. In fact, Deming said there are many things that cannot be measured and still must be managed. He said the exact opposite. And then you have Dr. Alexis Carrel, the things which are not measurable are more important than those which are measurable. So yes, I've worn the CFO hat. I've built financial performance programs and what they call quality-based incentive programs or value-based reimbursement programs. I built all those. And I also recognize, as came from Harvard Business Review and others, incentives, especially in healthcare, eliminate heart from healthcare. What became a calling, what became an altruistic calling in life to help and bless and honor other human beings, actually became, instead of this intrinsic desire, it becomes this extrinsic reward program. So that I'm not necessarily blaming the people, I'm blaming this. I'll just say this: the system created this desire for extrinsic rewards, when in fact many, if not most people who go into healthcare do so because they really want to help others.
I'm so glad you brought this up. It's germane and it's vital. Before we go to our break in just a little bit, I've been blessed because of my situation over the years to interact with many people in the healthcare system. One of the things I ask on a regular basis, especially a new person in any aspect of healthcare, is when did you know that you wanted to be a giver, a healthcare provider? And by the way, invariably, it was somewhere between the ages of 8 and 16. In other words, relatively early in life. And it was unusual. And I had one that said, well, 39. And that's because something unique happened in their life. Okay, we love the show. People love this show. Sponsors love the show. We wouldn't have them on. We didn't think they're worth your time. We'll be right back with more Tom because this guy is riveting. Be right back. Don't go away.
Hello, skincare connoisseurs. If you think you have tried everything in skincare, you are going to love what I am about to tell you. I'm pharmacist Benjamin I. Fuchs. I'm a dermatology pharmacist. And what I've discovered in my compounding pharmacy after decades of working with patients with skin traumas and skin diseases is the missing link in skincare is topical essential nutrition. And because of this missing link, we're not maximizing the potential of topical skincare. We're leaving skin beauty and skin health on the table. And that's why I formulated my Truth Treatments. Listen, the skin's an organ. It needs and wants and craves nutrients, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, and plant-derived minerals, and now it can get them in super high concentrations in my Truth Treatments. Originally formulated for dermatologists and their patients, now they're available to you. Check them out today at truthtreatments.com, and I know you are going to love the truth.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Good-looking, because you're always looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance. His name is Tom Dahlborg. And by the way, I say that with a little emphasis. His name could be Tom Dahlborg, but nobody can know because it's an R and an H, who knows? And he actually says he went to Harvard Business School. Now, if you want to ever look it up, you'd never find it because you have to know how to spell it. Harvard. But we know it is Harvard. Okay, Tom, we've been discussing essential aspects of living well. Living in good, doing good, bringing good. By the way, during the break, I came up with an acronym for your short name, because your real name is Tommy, or maybe even that's not. It's Thomas. However, you really maybe on your birth certificate is Tom. So Tom as an acronym. May I share with you what I came up with?
Please do.
Transformation opens miracles.
I love that.
That's who you are.
I love that.
You live in the miraculous.
And you know what what touches, well, a couple things. One is regarding Harvard Business School, I just want to be very clear. I worked for Harvard Health, as did my bride.
Okay.
I reference Harvard Business Review quite a bit. I did not go to Harvard Business School.
Okay, so okay, I wanted to be corrected, but he just used the term Harvard 3 times. And you still wouldn't find it because you wouldn't know how to spell it unless I spelled it for you. Harvard.
And number 2, the Heart book that we talked about earlier, that book is a transformational book. So everyone I reached out to engage with that second edition, they all came with, this is how, through my lens, I believe we can add love, we can transform healthcare together. And so I love that acronym you now.
Because that is right. It's the T word. And I mentioned people who tune in for us and who love it. And as I said, I am just humbled and honored. We have over 530,000 people listening right now. And you're always listening to urging your family and friends, listen to the podcast. It's so good. It's uplifting because it's not about information, which we have. That's readily available on the internet today. It's not even about inspiration. Wow, listen to Barry, listen to this guest. Yeah, like Chinese food. 2 hours later, you need more. We talk about the T word here, transformation.
Yeah.
It's really what we are involved with on the joy of living, and why I'm so honored to have Tom here. I want to use our remaining few minutes, Tom, with your permission, maybe even without, to talk about a book that you and I both revere. It's another place outside of Boston. Love and interact with on a daily basis, because it brings the reality of God to the world. And that is, you call it the Psalter, we all know Psalms. And Psalms, by the way, is such a great word. Psalmes. I mean, if God wants to make it a little more difficult, he'd say, okay, in English it's called psalms. Okay, whatever that. I'm going to ask you, put you right here. Tom, for you, please tell us your 2, maximum 3 favorite psalms.
So with my umbrella being one aspect I love about all the Psalms is the emotional honesty within them. I just think that it touches my heart, and it touches my heart in all different ways. From Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. It just walking in David's space as he's writing that, as he's speaking that, as they're singing that. It cuts you right to the quick. It's right to the soul, and then, my God, why have you forsaken me? Psalm 22, and being a Christian myself and thinking about my Lord and Savior on the cross, quoting Psalm 22. It's just beautiful and brilliant and connects. And again, the entirety of the Psalter of the Psalms, it's just so beautiful and so vulnerable, and yet so faithful and so trusting. And I just think it's absolutely beautiful.
Okay, I'm going to ask you for one more. I just want to emphasize some of the words you've been using. Faithful, honest, emotional, vulnerable. You can't make this stuff up. And we're talking about, there was a date or so over a period of years where the Psalms were sung by King David, and that goes back 3,000 years. However, they transcend time and space. And then there are other psalmists in the collection. So it still goes back 3,000 years. However, it doesn't go back 3,000 years because it exists beyond time and space. The fact that you are reading it in whatever language, you're in English, I read it in the original Hebrew, people read it in Greek, and it translated in every language in the world. Because that's how real it is, how universal. It's God's speaking to us through the human being, sifting through all the emotions that a human has, from rejoicing to vulnerability to tears streaming, and as you said so eloquently, the ability to feel. So when I say at the beginning of the show about my 8-year-old niece comes and says to me something, I say, so that's in Psalm 8, out of the mouth of babes. Out of the mouth of babes is what establishes this world. So I'm going to ask you one more, if you have. Is there one other one that really touches to you to the core?
That would be, and I mentioned when you and I spoke previously, my bride had shared with me Psalm 50 sung in Aramaic, and it was absolutely beautiful and profound, and that touched me deeply, even though I couldn't quote it. And yet there's a line in it where it talks about the covenant with my sacrifice. And I think about, again, especially in healthcare, as we start to turn more and more to God and start to carry our cross and start to understand the sacrifices that are being made by so many. And then we work to best position them to honor that calling, to actually truly go into healthcare and remain in healthcare for the caring, not for other KPIs, not for other outcomes, but the actual caring. We can't heal everyone, but we can be there for everyone. And that just, again, touches me deeply.
That should be a quote, Tom. We may be able to heal everyone, but we can be there for everyone, caring for everyone. Woo! Powerful, as you say in Broughton. Powerful for the rest of the world. Tom, I'm loath to say these words. We're coming to a close in our time together. I'm going to ask you 3 quick questions. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Absolutely, I'd love to. This has been a joy.
Thank you. Number 2, Tom Dahlborg. You have only 80 seconds to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
To live love.
That's wonderful. I'll say it in the ancient voice. That's remarkable.
Hmm.
I'm remarking upon it. Number 3, Tom, may I give you a hug in front of 529,618 people around the world?
I don't know how we'll do that, but that sounds great.
Okay, well, we do it because everybody will feel it. Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3.
Beautiful. That's
And
beautiful.
you're you're tuned into consciously to the joy of living. We come host Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy, and wonderful Tom Dahlborg. And I want to emphasize again, this show is not about Tom, fabulous fellow that he is, or about Barry. What a great guy. It's about you. Y-O-U. You becoming the best you, because when you are the best you build more bridges, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. Remember about the 3, tuned in because we talk about the 3 fundamentals. Number 1, life. Your life has purpose. Lead a purpose-driven life. Number 2 happens. You go mad. You make a difference in the world. Number 3, unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. You'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Words like smile, seeing miracles in life every day, as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in, causing rethinking. Listen to Tom. Rethinking, enabling all to excel. And when you do that, what's going to happen? You're going to shift your perspective. Keep that F in place or the other stuff happens, right? And you remember, you want to internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. These are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond to any given situation will determine your path in life and your trajectory. And remember, use a lot of 4-letter words, but you live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant. So the 4-letter words that you use are love, life, hope, play, free, gift, swim, and tell the world to F you. Capital N, capital N. You can do that with a twinkle in your eye and a smile on your face. You got their attention. Now you can share with them some of this amazing understanding of transformative opportunities, creating miracles, as Tom says, moving into agape care. And you'll carry it with you for yourself and everybody you interact with, because that's how you keep the planet healthy, by sharing positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant essence of you. So a blessing from Tom and Barry. Go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Tom, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.